Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about a trailer that came out today at the time of me recording this, an official trailer for this new AMC Plus series, Pantheon. If you haven't seen it already, I'll include a link to it in the description down below, but it seems like a really interesting animated series. Kind of goes balls to the wall with like the whole science fiction of it all. It's like this whole I think kind of, I mean, my understanding from what we've seen in the trailer is kind of like that next in, you know, uploading human consciousness into like you know, finding immortality through artificial means of uploading like the human consciousness, kind of almost a little bit like the show Upload on Amazon Prime if you've ever seen it, but obviously going like even further down that route, kind of like almost like the horror of it all, of just like, it seems like the experimentation is like a group is performing just to make this a possibility. It seems like there's a girl who's like father disappeared and she gets a call from him because I guess he was able to kind of take control of the system and was able to reach out, and he ends up like her using a VR set is able to kind of enter this reality. And there's a lot of weird like stuff of like making stuff happen and making stuff materialize. It just seems like, especially the more actiony, like heavily science fictional bits, I'm assuming that's all in the virtual reality of it all, but I'm curious like how that, if I mean, because it seems like obviously it's going to be dealing with both inside that like artificial world and then outside in the real world, or is it going to be a situation where like they start bleeding over? Because you know what it also kind of gives me an idea of, like, if you've ever played the video games, it reminds me of the dot hack games. If you don't know what those are, they're basically like virtual reality like MMOs. You're basically, especially the video games, you're playing a video game of you playing a video game. So it's like, yeah, this large MMO called The World, and basically the effects of the game start bleeding over and start affecting reality. So I'm wondering, I'm assuming it's going to be something kind of like that, you know? And distinguishing between reality and what's kind of that science fiction world is going to be interesting, because especially that world where it seems like you can do everything. But I don't know, just from what we saw, the visuals of it, just kind of like I said, really leaning into like some heavy science fictional elements seemed really, really interesting. So having really quickly watched the trailer again, part of me wonders, like, there's, you know, like I brought up previously, like, is there going to be bleed over? Could we also be entering that territory of like re-uploading people's brains in the form of like, are we going to get very, I should have thought about this immediately, but very Westworld-ish, where it's like, the concept in Westworld where it hasn't been successfully done because there's always a hiccup with it, but uploading human consciousness into like android bodies, could that be an element of it? Could you even see at one point someone's fingers like extend out like a robot? So I'm wondering, is that just still inside of that world? Because I'm like, once again, you kind of get into the dot hack of it all, of just like, right, is it just stuff bleeding over and affecting the outside world with everything that's going in or going on there, or is it just, it literally bleeds over because some of that artificial stuff and elements escape into the real world? Because they talking about like a war of like what this was it Logarithms, the company, the organization that's uploading people's brains to, you know, it's like, right, we're not the only uploads, and so we won't be alone. So how much of that is stuff that, because they were already starting with like artificial intelligence, so how much is artificial intelligence already there, very a la Westworld, like how much of that's already there, and now they're kind of bringing other humans into the fold, and now it is a situation of very Westworld-esque of humans versus hosts, where it's like, hey, like these artificial uploads were here first, and they bringing other people in. So like maybe the main protagonist, like her dad ends up being the, like he has to kind of choose a side, and they all have to choose a side. Like, are you going to join alongside the humans, fighting back against this? I keep thinking of different references. I'm pulling. I'm like dot hack, Westworld, Terminator to some extent. I don't know. It just, I'm really interested to really see the show and really get a full feel and vibe of like what exactly the full context of everything is, because a lot of it is out of context. So I feel like I'm kind of spinning my wheels trying to see like how it all necessarily pieces together. Maybe it's a lot clearer to other people, but this is just me kind of just taking references I know that are kind of like in the same feeling vein of this lane as science fiction, and kind of applying those aspects to this. And I don't know what fits it, which narratively speaking are we leaning more towards? Like I said, are we Westworlding this, we dot hacking this, we terminatoring this, or we kind of do an amalgamation, all of that to some extent. Either way, like I said, it seems really interesting, so I wanted to talk about it. It seemed really exciting. So obviously these are just some of the thoughts going through my head. I'd love to get to know your thoughts in the comments down below. What'd you think of the trailer? What do you think about the series? Are you excited for it? What are some of your thoughts on your own? Do you agree with some of the stuff I said? Do you completely disagree? Just let me know in general what you're thinking. But really, that's all I want to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.